Hello, I'm Dr. Jigay Panchan, occupational therapist. This is the third and the final part of the topic, low baking. So, if you say that the rehabilitation part of low back so the best intervention of the client with the LVP is a team approach using the skills of not only an occupational therapist but also there are many other individuals that is physician and other therapists, case workers, psychologists because this is also kind of a psychosocial issue. So, depending on the circumstances of the client, other team members such as vocational counselors, social workers, discharge planners, nutritionists, nurse could be a vital successful intervention outcome if we see in another way. So at this point, so these members may be a part of a rehabilitation team or a pain team or a management care group and so forth. So the main member of this team, however, it is the client, the patient himself, because the patient's goal and the desired outcome should direct the way in which the team approaches care. So each member, if we say that must be aware of the context or the context that we influence the client's performance, or this will may affect the way that the patient may or may not participate or take responsibility of his or her performance outcome. So that's why rehabilitation is very important because again because this hinders to some of the physical characteristics of the person to a normal performance and in certain ways. So if you say that much has been written about the workers and effects of the job satisfaction and limitations resulting from low back because of the low back there are the days in which the patient has to be home, loss of work, job days or loss of work days because of which he has imperative loss in his income. So therefore, however, the extensive review and literature has also been done on this in a course of time. So and also due to heavy manual labor in the past due to social disadvantages such as poor healthcare or lifestyle. People who experience more anxiety with loss of work and resulting financial implications frequently require the assistance of psychologists. And however, if you see this that these issues decrease of say decreased job and and satisfaction and anxiety may surface during the patient's occupational profile and should be addressed by all the members in all the manner at certain point. So that's why of the team. And also if you see that because low back pain is not easy thing to be neglected because it has a very high incidence rate. Low back pain is within 6 weeks of 90%. As such, if you see low back pain resolves in 6 weeks in 90% of the cases, but it resolves in 12 weeks in another 5%, and less than 1% of the back pain is due to serious spinal disease, maybe tumor or infection. So, less than 1% of the back pain stems from inflammatory disease, and less than 5% is true nerve root pain. So, typically, back pain is a result of a poor fitness, obesity, reduced muscle strength and endurance, or use of poor body mechanics. Actual changes in the structure or mechanics of the lower part of the back may result in problems, maybe like sciatica or nerve root pain or spinal stenosis, joint facet pain, spondylolisthesis. So sciatica is nothing but the nerve is trapped by a herniated disc. Spinal stenosis is narrowing of the intervertebral foramen. Disease, sorry, decreases the space where the spinal nerve exits or enters the spine. So that is spinal stenosis. Then you have facet joint pain. So the inflammation or changes in the spinal joints cause facet joint pain. Spondylo, uh, Spondylosis, it is a stress fracture of the dorsal to the transverse process. Spondylolisthesis, one vertebra slips on another. Herniated nucleus pulposus, stress may tear fibers of the disc and result in an outward bulge of the enclosed nucleus pulposus. Compression or stress fracture, these fractures are usually as a result of osteoporosis and occur in vertebrae. So there are see if you say there's role of physician in this. So physician is responsible for initial workup, that is or evaluation of the client, Although the evaluation process varies according to the type of physician, the examination usually includes a thorough medical history, current symptoms and complaints, functional limitations, posture, gait, strength, reflexes, sensations, and past interventions for this problem. So the diagnosis is usually made at this time, or the physician may order additional tests such as a nerve conduction test or a CT scans or MRI or blood work. So, after arriving at a diagnosis, the physician often prescribes medications and determines restrictions in activity and exercise guidelines. So, to reevaluate progress or lack thereof, the physician will typically see the patient in 1 or 2 weeks follow up visit. So, if the symptoms have not decreased by the time, the client may refer it to further therapy. So, during the client's course of treatment, the skill services of psychology, vocational counseling, and social work may be required. So, low back injury may affect many areas of the client's life significantly, including personal interactions, work, and finances. So, these consequences may increase the client's stress and affect the outcome of the treatment. Also, the physical therapist will more of a look for the gait pattern and the gait analysis, dynamic lumbar stability. So, it is called DLS, which incorporates by many PT theories, including flexion, extension, body mechanics of the lower part of the back. DLS involves integration of the muscle groups that control movement of the spine and abdominal muscles that support the back. The abdominal muscles act as a corset to support the lumbar area, so these muscles can flex the lumbar spine by acting on the superficial portion of the dorsolateral fascia. So they can also be extend the lumbar spine by acting on the deep portion of the fascia, which form the interspinal ligaments. So control of the lordosis in the flexion or in extension is extremely important. This is the main cause of it. So because of the repeatedly loads applied to the lumbar intervertebral joint, can lead to there certain problems like progressive tearing, you can say fatigue, ongoing disc prolapse, and because of that, the clients must learn. It's very important to remember that we have to make the client learn about the balance, muscular function, and flexibility to control the stresses involved in movement. So each client must be able to identify his or her own neutral position. So the neutral spine does not mean an absence of or no lordosis or curve of the lower part of the spine, but rather refers to most comfortable spinal position for the individual to complete movement patterns and then integrate this neural position into daily occupations. So the neural position of each client is the condition in which the vertebrae and the disc are under equal pressure. So to find the neural position called the finding neutral, the client should stand with the knees slightly bent and the weight distributed evenly. So using the abdominal muscles to tilt the pelvis, the client should flex and extend the lumbar spine until the balance position of the optimal function and the stability is attained. So that is how it is being seen that the neural position is attained and formed in the further manner. So if you see, so as in this image, if you can see, there are three postures over here which talks about the arch, flattened or neutral spine. So you can see how it is differentiated from each other. So the abdominal muscles should be contracted to maintain this position much as the corset would. So this position or stabilization should be maintained and integrated into performance in the client's occupation. So some individuals experience no pain while in a great degree of extension or with a great curve in the lower back region. So whereas others prefer a neutral position of flexion and have more of a flattened abdomen. So the clients who prefer neutral position in extension find that the extension of the back is beneficial in relieving certain pain and generated from flexion, so which is a result of impingement of the nerve as a result of narrowing of the foramen of by arthritis or a disc problem. So thus as a team, we are supposed to see in this form and to work in this collaboration and should perform as a team, and on the basis of this recommendation of the pelvic position, we as an occupational therapist, so we what we do, that we as occupational therapists will work with a client to incorporate the proper movement into daily occupations. So the physical therapist will help them to maintain the proper posture and neutral alignment, and we confirm this alignment into occupations when the client is performing. So this is how it is differentiated between the roles of physiotherapy and occupational therapy. Further, we'll talk about our role and how to treat the patient in further form. So now further, if you say about occupational therapy, that our role. So just let me briefly describe you what the physical therapists do. So the client will usually refer to PT just to address the pain, spasm, limited flexibility and posture. And PT evaluation generally includes the relation of mechanism of injury, date of injury, progression of symptoms, medical history, recent tests, procedures, medicals, medications, past treatment history, previous level of functioning, client's goal of therapy, a subjective history of ADL and sleep disturbance review. Any and objective examination will include analysis of posture, gait, active range of motion, the spine, the range of motion of extremities, pelvic symmetry, signs of nerve tension, strength, reflexes, sensation, leg length, palpitation of soft tissue. On the basis of the data collection, the physical therapist develops a treatment plan and goes to control the pain, spasm, exercises, determination of pelvic basis in daily activities and patient educations. But the PT on the other side, it reduces symptoms and increase strength. So further, if you see in the all nutshell, that the physical therapist will communicate with the appropriate pelvic position of the client to the rest of the team. On the basis of the physical therapist's recommendation of the pelvic position, the occupational therapist will work with the client to incorporate the proper movement in the daily occupations. So further, if we elaborate our works, that we as an as an occupational therapist will work with the client to develop an occupational profile. So this is achieved by using occupational self-report, a questionnaire or interview process. Filling out a questionnaire before the actual interview allows the client to begin to identify problem areas of occupation, stimulates conversation during the occupational profile. So see, the main thing is that we as an occupational therapist, besides all the medical history and all the medical stuff, but the main thing is whether he is able to perform or not. He has a proper medical profile, everything is done, but what if his functional level, how much functional outcome does he gives for himself? So this is what our main role comes chips in, and because of that we can perform a certain data on that view. We can perform a certain evaluation, we can perform a certain analysis. So this is about our more of activity analysis and basis of our treatment, and that's how we control and the uh, problems in the patient. So however, depending on the treatment settings, the client may regard the use of questionnaire and subsequent review of the same material with the therapist as redundant and the waste of time. So to develop a thorough kind of a occupational profile, occupational areas that must have been affected by the back pain should be identified. Analysis of occupational performance can be best be determined by actual performance. So to structure the evaluation within the clinic settings, an obstacle course consisting of various ADLs, IADLs may be used to various performance skills to assess various performance skills within the predetermined occupations. So there are many things which we see that we should be considered and should be formed a certain basis for further evaluation. See, there are the predetermined and the things, the ADL performance are here in this slide on the right side. If you see that level 1 is getting in the bed, demo, sleep position, up from the bed, down and off the shoe. So this is all functional thing. Besides of your all physical problems and many other things, how much you are able to deliver the numbers, how much you are able to do the thing, are you independent, are you able to perform your fullest? So that is what thing which is demanded, which is being used in particular form. So this is how you do the things, and that's what helps it. So because of these features, because of this understanding, because of the review, we think in some way that this helps in certain manner. Also there are other things, level 2, that is lifting 5 pounds of box, maybe 2.5 kg of a box, vacuum, sweep or mop, then reach, remove 2.5 kg box over the head, Then pain level again. This is all about the pain level, the initial pain level you have to check. Then in level 3, that is lifting 5 kg of the box, spade or rack, reach into the trunk, under the hood, reach or remove 5 kg box over the head. So there are certain things which is supposed to be demonstrated. The demonstrate this all to be done with neutral spine during squat, diagonal lift or golfer's lift. So this is how what you are supposed to check and to perform and to do into particular thing. So further, if you see that the assessment of performance in specific problematic areas of occupation will help in formulating the intervention plan and outcomes. You have to do particular activity analysis of particular thing with the appropriate positioning of the spine, neutral alignment of the spine, and with the other forms, we see that whether the person is able to perform his ADL task with the same speed and adequacy and with the same output by maintaining the neutral and normal spine. Is it working or not? Like the me to see me to check. So combination of intervention methods again will provide a best outcomes for the client. So further, if you see that for the intervention plan to succeed, the therapist should discuss with the client anatomy, pathology, back stabilization, ergonomics, body mechanics, and pacing. So the plan must incorporate education and demonstration of back protection techniques while the client is engaged in actual occupations. So the most important part of this process is to have the client understand, practice, demonstrate, and then incorporate the learned information into current and new occupations. See, it's about reading book and doing reality or real treatment on the patient. So it's about different. When you deliver the numbers, it has to be delivered at the appropriate requirements. So that is what it is. So we have to see in all aspects that how these things are being performed and what to do. So we are supposed to check the clients in this one. So the education received is to be incorporated and into performance for occupation by the client and must become a habit to ensure a pain-free living. So the client's outcomes will include reduction of pain, use of back stabilization techniques, use of adaptive equipments, and incorporation of body mechanics and ergonomics into client specific areas of occupation, as well as the ability to adopt this learning to new occupations to prevent further any future problems. So, such on this basis of client's evaluation, the therapist develops an intervention plan must use any of the thing which I have mentioned over here, that you can see in the slide, that education regarding the normal back anatomy or even the physiology and the back movement as they relate to the performance of occupation, use of neutral spine, back stabilization in the performance to reduce pain, education in basic biomechanics, body mechanics, training in use of adaptive equipment to modify tasks, task analysis in use of ergonomic design to modify the environment, training in the use of energy conservation to maintain participation in occupation, use of occupations to increase strength and endurance, education in strategies for pain management, stress reduction, and coping. So the client education again, as described and reiterated throughout the course of lecture till now. So the thing is that the client education seems to be the key success for the client with LBP. So because knowledge of basic anatomy and physiology helps the patient understand what is occurring when movement while engaging in occupation results in pain. So this knowledge is the foundation on which to build the rest of the intervention plan and ultimately select the appropriate interventions. So the education can be provided in both group and individuals setting. So further, we'll talk about that how to deal with the individuals in this form. Also, there are certain backline ADL referral or follow up. In that, certain information can be taken about clients is about his familiarity with back stabilization concepts, demonstration of excellent body mechanics. Clients has to have some ADL training from by us only for about past 2 years, and client if not appropriate about ADL evaluation they can explain further, because there are certain kind of ADLs which are little private and which the patient wants to do, or maybe uncomfortable to share at certain point. But that is our goal, to make him even independent in that form when he's performing the task or when he's doing certain form of performance. So this is how we can help the individuals in certain forms on the basis of the analysis. So we as an occupational therapist have a greater role in these forms, and also we'll talk further that how we can achieve our targeted goals in other ADL and IADL aspects of doing. Thank you. So now here we have certain things to discuss, that is back stabilization, neutral spine. So before starting each activity, the we as occupational therapist should work with the client to identify his or her proper lower position. It is important to monitor and cue the patient as needed during the activity to maintain proper position. It is mentioned here in the figure, you can see in the down in this previous first slide also I have mentioned. So neutral spine is very important. And further, the neutral spine, the client will need to learn and integrate a number of positions into activities to say to help in lifting movement, and these positions include ability to squat, diagonal lift, golfer's lift. The client's ability to perform a squat requires a absence of any knee or hip pathology. So while performing a squat, the client helps uh, helps him to keep the back straight while maintaining the neutral spine, which you can see in this figure on the left side or left top side, where this female is doing certain tasks. And so a diagonal lift requires a lift to be performed with one foot in front of another, and the legs should be a length apart, which you can see in the other figure over here, which is marked with B. So on the left side, if you see left top side of the slide, you have three figures A, B, and C. So that was the first, which is lift from the ground to from the floor to up. That is figure A. That's how you're supposed to lift. On the figure B, as I mentioned, so which is a kind of a diagonal lift, and figure C is kind of golfer's lift, which requires bending at the hip while raising one leg behind. So that will be considered as a golfer's lift. So A, B, and C. So using a team method, again, a physical therapist identifies the client's ability to squat as well as the type of neutral spine, but poor analysis of the specific ADL and the best position of the commencement of activities requires a thorough understanding of the client's particular type of neutral spine, and each flexion, or either flexion or kind of extension. Now we talk about body mechanics. So thorough knowledge of concepts of body mechanics by the client is critical for the use of back stabilization. So these concepts include maintaining a straight back, bending from the hip, avoiding twisting, maintaining good posture, carrying the objects close to the body, lifting with legs to promote safe performance, and using a wide base of support. So another key concept that is incorporated into activities is reducing back stress while standing. Using a small stool or opening a cabinet door and resulting the foot inside the cabinet base usually accomplish this goal. So instruction in avoiding any twisting of the back, this is very important. See, and should avoid any kind of twisting of the back. This is very important. And so using so because of that thing, many activities is of essential tasks are being performed, and will be habitual in the activities of normal doing, so such as flushing the toilet. In these instances, the client must be instructed to use a unit while maintaining a neutral spine, because while flushing the toilet the person will more attempt to twist. Adaptive equipment is often useful. The most frequently recommended pieces of equipment for the person with LVP include long handled sponges or brushes or reachers, long handled shoe horns, shoe sock aids, and many other things can be used. That is a kind of assistive equipment. In ergonomics, you see much has been done to create environments that the better fit the individual's need of a person with low back pain. For example, office chairs that permit height, back angle, back height adjustments allow the users to fit the chair. A chair for desk work must provide back support and maintain the hip and knee at 90 degree with the flat feet on the floor or at the footrest. So the back of the chair should not be so far back should not be so far back that it cuts into the back of the legs or causes forward bending of the back and straining with the arms. So the rest of the body position should allow the client to complete the desk activity with the proper positioning of the neck and upper extremities. So that's how an analysis of the client's work task should be completed and modifications made. In addition, also the worker needs to change position in the take breaks, and occupational therapists and others specialists in ergonomics are available to provide consultation and assessment and recommendation to the employer and give client information and allows him to complete a task analysis independently in relevant environment. Energy conservation is again very important because given their because in their busy lives they may not realize about uh, they may not realize that the that other ideal tasks such as maybe vacuuming, dusting, cleaning bathrooms, or preparing dinner for the guest, or may more than that their bags can tolerate. So they should see, so because of the other external pressure they forgot this other instances. So teaching clients with the principles of energy conservation can help alleviate or minimize problems in these areas. So these principles may include planning ahead, uh, pacing oneself, setting priorities, eliminating unnecessary tasks, balancing activity with rest, and learning one's activity tolerance. So this is how we can he can perform a certain task and do his occupations. Also occupations to increase strength and endurance. So once the principles of energy conservation have been taught incorporated into several of the client's occupations, it is important to build on that knowledge and enable the client to increase strength and endurance for engagement in more favored occupations. So again, given the opportunity to prepare a meal nightly, so the client can soon develop the endurance to prepare a meal for the guest. Sitting at the computer to write later while maintaining the neutral spine strengthens the abdominal muscles. It also increases this ability to sit in the car for the for a ride. Further, you have strategies for stress reduction and coping, because this is also very important, not directly related to physical, but it is more of a related to back pain. So that's why the psychological aspects to be considered and to be formed in that basis. So numerous methods can be used to promote stress reduction and coping, including relaxation techniques, deep breathing, medications, prayer, guided imaginary, uh, uh, regular muscle relaxation, rhythmic muscle relaxation. Jacobson exercises is more for seizures, but again you can use for relaxation of the muscles, for the low back pain, and for the psychosocial benefit. Also, avoiding frustration, managing angry feelings and negative thoughts, and most important, participating in meaningful daily occupations can help the client avoid stress and that results in pain. So that's what. So this is how you can help the client and particular patient in particular form, so he can perform his ADL and certain tasks in a very rhythmic and regular manner. So now let's for so we also do certain analysis of the task. It is also important that to do certain activity analysis of occupations. So after the client has completed the occupation profile and identified some problems as areas, so ask the certain questions by yourself. Say for example, you can ask that what is the normal movement in this activity. Analyze the activity, because the when the client identifies the occupational areas, the affected occupational areas in which he is not able to perform, so we have to ask for ourselves that, or we can make the client ask that what is the normal movement in this activity. Analyze the activity, what separate movements make up this activity. We only have to do this activity analysis and we can help the client to perform very well in this form. Then which movement could trigger pain in the client, or and then we have to plan the way in which the intervention will be provided. How can this activity be properly performed to avoid the position that causes pain? Could the environment can be changed or adapted as per the activity demand? So this is how we can see and set up to certain things and we can perform particular area. So that's what. So this is how we can help the patient in certain forms of areas and doing certain things. So now we'll talk further about the activity, the ADL areas in which the client need to be assisted and doing the particular form of exercise. So this slide is full of pictures, and you can understand and you can see certain forms how we how the patient and it is marked also which is correct position, which is incorrect position in every aspects of the uh, area. So here if you see that bathing again is a kind of area which is supposed to be taken. So for a person with low back pain, a shower is usually better than the bath because it is easier to maintain a neutral spine while standing, and may also be more and it is also more difficult to get in and out of the tub safely. So that's why shower is again important. And if you say dressing, so the client should sit while dressing and keep the back straight, or should lie flat on the bed while pulling clothes up. And client should refrain from getting dressed while bending forward. So to don and doff socks and shoes. So the client should sit and bring the foot to the rest on the knee. So in this way he can wear the particular socks. So client should not have a good external uh, rotation of the hip, and may place their feet on a stool while donning and doffing of the socks and the shoes. So this you can see in the figure on the left side over here, which is mentioned. uh, so this you can see the image here on the left on the white side, which is marked with the white box. So that is a kind of a dressing example. You can take your feet up and you can socks instead of bending or lying down on the bed. So for the functional mobility can also be performed about, you can see in the figure which is marked with blue on just right to this figure marked with white. So here use of a log rolling or the roll in bed requires movement for the body as a whole unit. So to sit up and lie down, the client bends the knee and pushes up with you can say with the arms while coming sitting position. So there are different positions as you can, as is shown here. In this way the person can sit and can stand up in particular form. Also it is being performed in this fashion. So when getting on and off a toilet, a client must lower the body while maintaining the back straight or actual or neutral spine. Supporting the hands on the thighs is helpful. Grab the bars at the side of the toilet are also useful. However, grab bars may be secured properly and designed extensively for this purpose. So clients sometimes use tissue holders at certain point, but it is very important to know that by holding such things it should be very sturdy. Instead, if it is not sturdy, the person can also have a fall. Also it is recommended that the client use firm armchair that is supportive and not too low, rather than on a soft couch. So the client can use the arms to push up or as push up to a standing position, and it is shown here with the image marked in the orange 41.12. If you see that the lady is getting up from chair, so while pushing up on the back on the seat or on the armrest, the person can lift up. And to reduce stiffness, the client should not sit more than 15 or 20 minutes. If you say personal hygiene activities, that is a bathroom sink can be difficult because most sinks are designed to accommodate both children and adults. So the low positioning focus most adults to bend forward, which places increased stress on the back structures. While brushing the teeth, shaving, or washing the face, the client should place a foot inside the cabinet to reduce strain on the lower part of the back, and bend from the hips while keeping the back straight. As you can see in this figure, the man is brushing in the figure marked with gray, that he is placed his feet like this. So this is much of a helpful position instead of bending instead of bending the spine to do certain tasks. Further, there is a sexual activity also. When someone with the back pain is doing the sexual activity, also is affected by the low back pain. So this image is marked with light green color. As you can see here, this is image here at the bottom of the slide, just beside the man who is brushing. So the sexual activities require position that place the lower part of the back in a neutral position. So the client with back pain may be most comfortable taking a passive position in their back. So positioning pillows under the buttocks or upper part of the back may help reduce arcing of the back. So a roll towel, as you can see here in the image, maybe image is very small, but you can see there is a small towel of gray color is mentioned in the image. So roll towel under the lower back region may also help maintain a neutral back position. In addition, the client is advised to start slowly and gradually work up to more vigorous movements. So stretching and warming up muscles may enable the greater activity, and taking a warm shower or bath before the sexual activity may also relax muscles and help reduce pain. So a bit of planning will allow this activity in a usual or preferred manner or the expected manner. Sleep. So where we spend a third of our lives in bed, so it is important to consider the effects of that being supine have on our backs. So firm supportive mattress is important. The pillow should support the neck and head without causing the flexion of the neck. So that is very important to understand. You should not be allowing any kind of flexion of the neck. So here you can see in the image, which is marked with yellow color, that many types of foam pillow are helpful. While sleeping on the back, the client should place a pillow under the knee to reduce strain on the lower back part of the back and help maintain the balanced lower back position. So there are other positions which you can see here in this image. It is mentioned A, B and C. So if we see here, that was A, and while lying on the side, that is the image which is different here. So while lying on the side, the client should, that is A, the client should place a pillow between the knees to place the top leg from the moving out of the alignment and twisting the lower part on the back. So and then for some individuals, sleeping on the stomach is appropriate. So that is again, if that image C, if you can see here, then over here you can see in this position that pillows will not be appropriate, but a small pillow under the feet to bend the ankles and knees will take stress off the lower back region. So that is in the image C, if you can see. So A, B, C, that's how it is already more of a explanatory image which you can understand and see in the client. Further, there is a child care. So holding the children requires special precautions for the individuals with back pain. Sudden movements can increase the client's pain and interfere with the ability to handle the child safely. The client should use changing table or elevated surface while dressing the child. Bathing can be performed in a kitchen sink or portable tub or in an elevated surface. So that's how you can do. There are certain things of doing the thing is that is also mentioned in this figure marked with black color. Further, the computer use also is very important and very right. So there is a computer arrangement which I have just mentioned. So driving is also important, and many other things, as you can see here. Taking the laundry, that is the image marked with dark green in the extreme right bottom of this slide. So this is how you are supposed to do and take care of the task and treat the patients respectively in their areas of ADL. So shopping, work, leisure, home establishment management. So these are certain ADL tasks if you see in this low back care and in the individuals with certain back problems and in this form. So for we as an occupational therapist have a very wide area of working with this patient in this category. So so that's why in this way you can also target certain ADLs, IADLs, every aspects of doing certain things. So even in the work, as I mentioned, computer use and driving and maybe work of any time or a leisure activity. So again, also during leisure, it is not that you do leisure with certain arrangements, because see sometimes leisure is like a sports. You have to deliver the full numbers or you stop or you don't deliver. So that is what it is, and that is what it is mentioning in certain form. So when you are doing certain things, it is to be done in a perfect 100% form, or it doesn't give that particular results. Even in the sports activity, someone has a back pain, so it should be relieved 100%. You cannot go to any kind of sports activity with say 10% of a back pain, and 90% is relieved. You have to be 100%. So that's why every activity demands its own way of doing. So further, and that's how we do certain treatment protocols, and that's how we treat the individuals with the back pain, and further in their areas of functioning in ADL and IL. So there are certain areas, surgical interventions, that and there is post-operative occupational therapy evaluation intervention, and post-operative activities or ADL. So this how you there it is differentiated in three forms. From the surgical interventions, you can there is a vertebroplasty, kyphoplasty, and it is also divided into two types about decompression of the nerve and stabilizing the spine. So there are different surgeries which I have talked about this surgeries in my second part of the lecture, and about the treatment protocols and the surgical manner. So stabilization can include the use of various pieces, say while we are treating the individual with this kind of problem. So surgeries also is very important in uh, decompression of the nerve, in that the nerve to open the transverse foramen and increase the space of exit of the spinal nerve and entrance of the spinal cord. So some surgeries may remove a structure such as a part of a disc or osteophyte, which may create a pressure over the nerve root. And the stabilization can include the use of a previous pieces of hardware such as screws, wires, rods, and bone grafts, or to increase stability of the bony structures of the spine. In addition, there are then other surgeries which I have just mentioned here in the written material. Further, if we talk that there is a post-operative so post-operative occupational therapy evaluation and intervention, if you see that is when seeing a client for the first time post-operatively, the occupational therapist obtain occupational client's history, occupational profile, as well as description of his or her own environment, or ascertain the types of modifications required for the safety, as I discussed about additive devices, even ergonomics of the chair, and home modifications, maybe including picking up the rugs and to prevent falls, because fall again is very dangerous in any case, and especially for the back pain. So increasing awareness of the pads, selecting a type of chair that is easily to get in and out of, that provide good support and fits the client. The therapist again should also determine whether the home contains a standard toilet and shower, and whether modifications are required. Next, the therapist must educate the client uh, in the required performance precautions of the daily occupations. This should take place before even attempting to have the client get out of the bed, and the evaluation is somewhat contrary or customary practice in the occupational therapy. So, in this situation, the occupational therapist should not want to observe performance before the intervention. So that's why instead there is important to focus on the primary performance and functioning of the person. And post-operative ADL activities, that is while in the hospital, the most basic ADL must be addressed initially. It is important to educate the client on the proper positioning of the sleeping and have the client demonstrate the correct position. The client will need to use the log roll or for functional mobility in the bed, and proper methods are also taught for getting in and out of the bed, and in and out of the chair, in and out of the toilet seat, brushing teeth, washing the face, shaving, dressing, using the back support techniques, as I have discussed before in this session. So that's why it is important. In the hospital stay, as I mentioned here, it is more of a clients between 24 hours and 3 to 5 days, depending on the procedure and the previous levels of function. And most clients are discharged at home. So this is how it is done. Because the client stay is so short, it is good to provide them with a resource that help them to provide specific occupations be overlooked during the hospital stay. So some facilities develop educational materials that include basic biomechanics, hints on ADLs, and anatomic post surgical bags or do's and don'ts, and various surgical information. So many hospital computerized education programs that provides and allows the provider to issue information on the surgical procedure and resulting back precautions. And so that's how you can help the person with the back pain in all the areas of his occupation, and that's how you can help the individual to perform to the fullest and have a good quality of life by reducing the pain, increasing the muscle strength, endurance, the conditioning of the abdominal muscles, and help the client to perform in a normal posture by maintaining normal neutral spine, maintaining proper alignment of the spine, and making it into a habit while doing any kind of activity of daily living, maybe basic or ideal of their choice as per the client's requirement. So that's how we as an occupational therapist can help the patient with low back pain of any age at any point to improve and be normally living into the society and functioning to the fullest. Thank you. So these are the references which I mentioned here, so you can go through this for a better understanding of the topic. Thank you.